Hello subscribers, today is going to be a little bit different of a video, as you can see by the title. I'm going to teach you guys how to ship isopods. This is how I ship isopods. This is not necessarily the only right way how to ship isopods. There are many different people that do it many different ways, and they are not necessarily wrong. This is just how I do it. So I'm going to go over a few things: how you actually pack the isopod in their container, what service I use, and then the last part will be some kind of stipulations and stuff, some issues that you might come across that you want to watch out for. Alright, so first off, get right into it. We got an 8-ounce Deli Cup. This is my favorite size that I like to use for the method that I use. You know, some nice holes poked in the top. You may want to do some on the sides, especially for a species that likes more ventilation. You know, but that all depends on, it all depends. Peat moss. I like to use sphagnum peat moss, straight from Canada. This brand, Sunshine, I get from Home Depot. Works really well. It's super light, very water absorbent. So it's already kind of damp, but you're gonna add water. This is dry in here, but you're gonna add how much moisture depends on the species that you're gonna ship. You know, you're basically trying to create a little microclimate in here that's similar to what's in their enclosure. Another way that people sometimes like to ship is with paper towel and egg crate, but I don't like to do that. I find that it can dry out much easier. A worry, a lot of people will say to me, Eli, aren't you worried about the substrate crushing the isopod? No, I am not, because for one thing, isopods are pretty hardy, and two, it's because of how I pack this. So this is already kind of moist, but this is distilled water. You're going to add as needed, but this is moist. I don't really need it any more than this. So I'm going to pack down a good amount of the first bit, and then I'm going to put in just a little bit loose, right? A little bit loose there. A little bit loose. Then, this is my, what was once a big bag of oak leaves, now is a small bag of oak leaves. I'm going to crush some, put it in there just as like a little bit of a base. And then I'm going to take whole or mostly whole leaves and stack that on top. There's a plane. I apologize. I live in the path of an airport, and planes are an unfortunate thing that I have to deal with. So, got that like that. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to add your isopods. Now, how many isopods should you add per container? Well, one, it depends on what your order is, what your customer wants, but I wouldn't put any more than 50 isopods in here, depending on the size. Like if you're doing dwarf whites, obviously you could fit way more in there. I wouldn't do any more than 50 regular sized quote-unquote isopods. This is Nisatum Peach, so I'm just going to show you real quick that there are in fact isopods on here. You know, there you go. Anyways, so drop a few of these little guys in here. You know, I was going to just do this, have you guys use your imagination, but I know somebody would complain. Like, people are like that. They're like that. So I put like 5 or 6 in there, you know. And then very gently put your lid on top. You want it so that way they kind of touches the leaves and it creates kind of like a little pressure barrier. So that way your leaves on there, it acts as a cushion, and when you turn it over, your substrate doesn't move, so there's no chance of your substrate crushing it. And even if it did fall, if a little bit of it did fall, peat moss is too light. It's not going to crush, you know, your isopods. And the reason why I use this size comes to my next point, which is the actual packaging and service that I use. So I typically like to use USPS. People have their gripes about USPS, and they're not unwarranted, or without merit, but the small USPS flat rate box, you can get them for free. Order them straight off of the website. And the cool thing about these is your 8-ounce Deli Cup, perfect, like a glove. You can fit 2 of them in here. And then what I do is close it up. And this is an already used one, and then put that in here, and then send it off, and you're good to go. And about the service that I use. So, I do not like to ship directly to the customer. By directly, I mean straight to their door. If I was using FedEx, I would do that, but being how it's USPS and they sometimes sit on the trucks, the reason why I don't like to do it is because, or ship directly, I mean, is because the more time they're out on the trucks, the more they're exposed to the elements, the more opportunity they have to overheat or, freeze or whatever, what have you. And the way that I do the hold for pickup service is it's a special label. I've crossed out my address because I don't want you creeps knowing where I live. So it's a hold for pickup label, and you can only make this on the USPS website. You can't go into your post office and be like, hey, I want hold for pickup, and have them do it. They won't know what you're talking about. They'll look at you like you have 3 heads. And this makes it so that way they have to hold it for 30 days. When it arrives to their local post office, it sits there, and they don't take it on the truck. The customer has to go and pick it up. And I really like this because it's convenient for the customer. And this is weather dependent. Other method that I like to use is this size box. I believe this is 6x7x6, or you can use 8x8x8, what have you, with styrofoam insulation. This is what I use in the dead of winter. I would not use this during the summer, basically because, especially if, say it's July, the middle of July, and you're shipping to Phoenix, Arizona, it's 105 degrees. This is a little insulated little oven, and you're basically gonna roast them in there. At least that's what I found. Some people, if you put a cryo pack in there, it can do okay, but I just don't like to do it. Plus, cryo packs are kind of expensive. Heat packs are also, heat packs aren't as bad as cryo packs price-wise, but speaking of which, if you have to add a heat pack, tape it to the top, or if you're using this method, tape it to the side over here. That way it's not directly in contact with the isopods, because you'll roast them. You don't want that. Let's see, what else? The weather. Also, this method that I use works great for roaches too, or really any other inverts. For the roaches, I don't even bother with the Deli Cup. I just put them in here with some egg crate or something, and they do just fine. But yeah. So some stipulations or issues that you may run into. I've had some times when I ship. By the way, this shipping method, 95% of the time to 99% of the time, you won't have any DOAs. I almost never have them. I've had isopods get lost in the mail for over a month, and using the method I have with the peat moss and the leaves, they'll get back to me and they'll survive, or they'll get to the customer and survive. But an issue that some people may have is that some post offices, out in the boonies or whatever, they don't know about this service. So what they'll do is, once it gets there, they'll be like, oh, it doesn't have an address, and they'll send it right back. They'll be like, you have to have a P.O. box in order for us to hold it. But that is not true. This is an official USPS service. It's a federal service, and they have to hold it, even if you don't have a P.O. box. So I would make sure, before you're going to do this method, that you contact your customer and have them go to their post office and ask questions and have them, make sure that this is okay and that they know about this and they're not going to just resend it immediately. And something that helps if you do run into that issue is when you make the pickup, there's a sticker covering it, because I don't want you to see this person's address, but when it prints out the label, it has your return address, but it also has the address of the post office that it's going to. It doesn't have the address of this actual human being. So what helps is, if they get it and they're like, we don't know what to do with this and we're not going to hold it here, if you write the actual address of the person, their house or what have you, on it, they'll send it to that person's house instead of sending it right back to you. That's a way to mitigate this problem. But the best thing to do would be to make sure that they do the hold for pickup service. Most of them do. Almost all of them do. But some people's post offices, if they live out in the boonies, You know, they don't know about this and they won't do this, and it's a real pain in the butt. And now we come to the, why don't you just use FedEx? I don't like to use FedEx because I've literally seen with my own eyes them punt packages to my door. And USPS generally handles the packages fairly well. You know, you have your incidents here and there. But USPS is also more convenient. I like their website. It works pretty well on the desktop. On mobile, it's a little shaky, but you know, what are you going to do? You can order these online. You don't have to pay for the boxes or the envelopes. The shipping price is included. They ship it straight to your door. It's very convenient. Whereas with FedEx, you gotta buy boxes in bulk, and the boxes can be like $3 or so a piece. That increases to your shipping costs. Total for me to ship in this method with the thing and the thing and the thing all together costs about $10. You know, and that really appeals to some of my customers that like to keep the shipping costs down. You know, some people get really turned off. Like, I'll give people a really great deal on some Isopods, but the shipping will be $15 instead of $10, and they'll be like, no, Eli, I don't want to do that. I don't want to spend the extra $4. And, you know, it's a pain in the butt. And you could just be like, no, you know, screw you, customer, might as well not go through with the sale. But, you know, if you want the sale, you know, going down to $10 and using this method works pretty well. The other thing is that this method comes with a free $50 insurance. So, and you can add by, you know, paying more for more insurance as you go up in value. But most of my orders aren't more than $50 anyways. I ship well, I wouldn't say most, but a lot of my orders aren't any more than $50. But if they are, I add more for the shipping. And if there's a delay, the cool thing is that if there's a delay, and they still get their pods, but if it's delayed like a few days, you can go onto the website and claim a refund, and you can get your money back plus the insurance because they messed up. And it's a really, it works for me. It really does, most of the time. Sometimes I get some headaches, like I said, with the whole hold for pickup debacle and how some don't do it, but it works really well for me. But yeah, that's about it. You know, when you're shipping in the styrofoam box, you know, make sure to use plenty of newspaper. And even when I ship this way, I'll put newspaper on the inside, or maybe lining the box on the outside, inside of the envelope. But yeah, that's how I do things, you guys. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you have any suggestions or any concerns, once again, I am an open book. I will talk about whatever. This video has been a long time coming. I've been promising people for a while, and I've been, you know, I don't like shipping. Shipping's a pain in the butt. So I didn't really want to make a shipping video because when I do shipping on the regular shipping days, it's chaotic. It takes, you know, it takes time. So I wanted to do it on a day. I don't ship anything today. This is just an example. And it worked out pretty well. But like I said, my way is not the only way. If you have any other suggestions for me, or if you have any questions, feel free to ask. You know, like, comment, share, subscribe. Especially share this with other people if you're trying to get into the Isopod game or the invert game. This could help them out greatly. You're not going to get rich doing this, but shipping this way definitely has saved me money and time, which time is money. So yeah. Have a good one, guys. Subscribe, like, and all that stuff. Peace out. Next video is probably going to be another care video. I've been delayed a little bit. I've been really busy lately, but a care video is coming. I haven't decided on what yet, but a care video is coming. So yeah, peace out.